Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome back. 'Tis the season. ICAD officially starts today. Well, the day that I'm filming, which is June 1st, Wednesday. So ICAD, I do have a couple videos on my channel from last year. ICAD is just a challenge where you create a piece of art on an index card for 61 days. Starts June 1st and goes all the way until July 31st. Now, I don't know how I heard about the challenge. It's been a year now, so I don't really remember, but I did it for the first time last year. I never did like a complete like flip of the cards that I made, so I'm gonna do that for you guys today. But yeah, I had a blast doing ICAD. I learned a lot of different techniques. I got to play around with my supplies, and these are things that I've kind of transferred over into my journaling system. This challenge is just a simple, no pressure, like create something quick and easy on an index card. So yeah, I actually turned a bunch of the cards that I made into like postcards that I send out in Happy Mail and tip-ins that I put in my journal and stuff. So yeah, I just had so much fun that I'm doing it again this year. And before I get into my plans, and I think at the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and include clips for my title card for this year, as well as day one, the card that I created. So before I get into all that, let me just show you what I made. So something that I did for my index card a day was on the actual cards on the back. When I remembered, I did a stamp of the day that I did it and what supplies I used. This is really helpful, at least for me, because I can always go back and be like, oh, if I like this, I'll know what supplies to use. So day one, it's very simple. Or not day one, the title card. This was day one. I didn't really do much to this. This was already like a this was from, I think, like an art journal magazine and stuff. So I just tore that out and just collaged a little bit. So yeah, practice card using scraps from my bin. And then on day two, this is when I started making like paper art dolls. I call them art dolls, but yeah, I was really interested in like cutting apart different pieces. I made this like party hat thing that I found from a tutorial I found on YouTube. So yeah, use mixed media party hat tutorial. And then the background was super easy. I remember I just did, I think, Distress Oxide everywhere. So I'm just starting to get my groove. And yeah, this is when I started like really loving neon. So I used more of those like party hats. And then for this one, I used the gloss sprays from Dina Wakley. I used magenta, ocean, and turquoise. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I still have these sprays, but I realized that I should have rinsed out the little spritzer thing after every use, because now all of them are clogged. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix that. But anyway, this is day 4. I started like just going all out with like mixed media stuff around this day. So for this one, the one where I tried to fix an ugly card. Oh, I think I was testing more of those Dina Wakley sprays and I made mud. Like they didn't work very well together, the colors that I chose. So I made a catfish. For here I use glass sprays, acrylic paint, and modeling paste. Modeling paste was just to give me a little texture. This one was one of my favorite ones. So I remember I did neon paper, and then on top, to get this like really cool look, I used Distress Oxides. Yeah, found a new art doll printable on Etsy, Little Raven ink, collage sheets, one crabapple printables, neon paper, Distress Oxides, Salty Ocean, peacock feathers, and then white acrylic paint. And I believe this is from Little Raven ink, and then so were the butterfly wings. This was also another one of those things where I just like was just really using all of the things. I used scribble sticks, Distress Oxides, a pre-made masterboard, which was just done using acrylic paint and stencils, gloss sprays, and white acrylic paint. This was like my first shaker card, and in hindsight, I wish that I had probably like colored the TV or put something behind her to make her pop, because the colors are just all too similar, so you don't really see the little art doll as well as I would have liked. And then I used, it had like one of those like small handheld sewing machine things that I tried using a whole lot for this challenge. So yeah, note to self, trace cutout windows on backing, card to help organize inside image, products used, Distress Oxides, and I listed the colors, which stays on color. I used Tim Holtz, and then printables. Here I wanted to try more of a neutral card. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I don't think neutrals are my jam. So this one was, I tried coffee dyeing postcards. Can't say I'm a fan. Yeah, I tried. So one of the things that I learned, or one of the things that helped me, was to have pre-done cards. So like I did them in bulk. I coffee dyed a bunch of these cards. When I was playing with the gloss sprays, I sprayed a bunch of cards. Yeah, it helped to have the backgrounds pre-done for those days where I just didn't want to take everything out. So this one, Distress Oxides, Vintage Photo, Tim Holtz, Antiquarian Sticker Book, Stays on Spiced Chai, Vintage Paper. I'm missing vibrant cards, to be honest. First male art doll. And then this one was also one of my favorites. Think and Wonder. Attempted to make an art doll following a video. Not sure I'm a fan of this one. Jelly plate prints, pink archival ink, and collage fodder. So this was just like a bunch of scraps, I think. Here is another one. I wanted to use a couple random bits of paper. So yeah, I really appreciate that I remembered to list what I used. This one, I tried to make like a one big image using 2 cards. So it was day 11 and day 12. I think I had seen someone on Instagram that did their ICAD cards this way, and I thought it was really cool, so I tried it. I did not list on the bag, unfortunately, but I do know that these were the coffee dyed ones that I tried. Here was another one. I know this here was from a calendar. There was like a poem a day calendar that is from like 2018, I think, and I just saved all of the poems and I cut them up, put it for this one. Dyed index card. Yeah, I had like a really old tea stain set thing from Hobby Lobby, so I whipped that out and tried to dye a bunch of cards. Very messy. Will not do that again. But yeah, I used that one. This one I had a lot of fun with. I used the little hole reinforcers, and I had painted a whole bunch, put them all over, And then I took my sewing machine and just did like haphazard patterns and stuff. This was another card that I made using the Dina Wakley gloss sprays. Yeah, this one was a struggle. It still isn't where I want it, but I'll have to do. Also remember to write the word you want to stamp down so you don't mess up the order. Yeah, I think what happened, I think I was trying to stamp a different thing, but I was doing it backwards and I think I messed up, and so I had to go with Inner Voice. I don't know what I was going to originally stamp. But yeah, gloss sprays, printables, and then Posca paint pens. This was another one where I think, yeah, I had these like address labels that I had pre-stamped and stuff and like pre-painted. And I just like created a little pattern, outlined them with my sewing machine, and then worked over it. But you can't really see the stitching too much because I painted dark over. So this is another vintage one that I tried using like a male body. I probably should have put the fox head a little bit lower, but it is what it is. And this was using one of those like pre-done coffee dyed index cards. This one I did not like at all. Using more of those like coffee dyed ones. Yeah, I think I started getting like burnt out at this point because I kind of just like stopped writing what I was doing, and I feel like I didn't put as much effort into them. I know this guy's from a tutorial that I followed, Little Raven Ink, and like that's from Little Raven Ink, the eye, and then these ears things. This was literally just like I wanted to make like a patchwork one, so I used a bunch of random scraps. And then, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about this like goat dollar bill dude. But anyway, so those are the cards that I made for ICAD. I am super excited to do it again this year. And this year, I'm actually going to be putting everything in my Rolodex. So if you're new to my channel, I did a video where I talked all about Rolodex art, all my supplies, ideas to use it, and well, this couldn't have come at a better time because now I can have a place to store all of my cards. So that being said, before ICAD started, I got together a bunch of supplies. I made a bunch of like pre-done backgrounds on the cards. These are the really small ones. I don't know exactly how much I will use these, but yeah, I did a whole bunch of like pre-painted ones. Also, I'm sorry about the lighting. It keeps getting like dark and then bright. So if you notice the light come in and out, it's because I'm doing this by a window. All right, so those are the pre-painted cards. Now I also, let me move all the stuff. I have this really big bin. I'm gonna just zoom out. This really big bin that I put a bunch of scraps and things. These are all of my Tim Holtz like word phrases. I have a bunch of scraps from printables, magazines. These were some cards that I made like last year that I cut up and put in here. Some vellum. I just got these in. I'm really excited to use them. The little Tim Holtz like moth study is what it's called. I have some loose Project Life cards. These are Tim Holtz. Those round stickers. So yeah, I literally just went through some of my scrap bins and just picked out things that are really old, like things that I've had for a while that I haven't used, little tiny pieces of things, just because I want to try and use it. And if I don't, I'm going to recycle it at the end of this because I'm drowning in paper. But yeah, it's just like a random mix of things. And then I have a Flow magazine at the bottom. So I'm going to use this to like cut out letters and other things like backgrounds, borders and stuff. Because I have a lot of these that I haven't used yet, so I'm hoping that by having it in there, I will. So that's that bin. I do have a secondary bin that I'm using, which is right here. Originally, I wanted to try and fit everything in here, but I couldn't. So I have two bins. This one, oh, this bin I got at like a thrift store, and then I just used some gel medium to put this image on there. And then same thing along the edge, I took some washi because it was just a regular brown box, so I wanted to make it a little more interesting. But okay, this is more like background stuff, I think. So I have some tissue paper. I had bought some napkins that I'm gonna attempt to use, which, by the way, if you want to do a napkin swap with me, let me know. I don't have a whole lot of napkins, but like a lot of different designs, but I have like a lot because they come like a pack of 20 and I'm never going to use 20 napkins. This here has like little birds that I cut out from a like wildlife guide. And I figured because they're like smaller, they would work very well for the tinier cards for the Rolodex. And then that's just like scratch sticker paper. I still have a whole book of birds, so I can always go back and cut more. I have just some craft paper, some rainbow tissue. These are Tim Holtz, like Tim Holtz dolls, paper dolls, or Tim Holtz people. I got these like pom-pom ribbons. This has some die cuts, feathers, birds, beetles. Not sure if I'll use them, but there they are. And then I have a bunch of like really cheap stencils that I just picked up that I wanted to try out. So it's just a bunch of like random stuff. Some of these, like this might be too big to use for the index cards, but we'll see if I can make them work. That's a tree, mandala. This one I really like the smaller ones. All right, stencils. And then I went through, I still had them all like grouped together when I did my challenge in February. So I put a bunch of like my stamps that I could use as backgrounds or like focal images. those are all the stamps that I'm going to attempt to use. And then I have some more like Tim Holtz stuff. I love Tim Holtz. So like the little die cut packs. But that is essentially what I plan on using. Now, the reason I grouped it all together is because I work better when I have like a smaller group of things. And a lot of this stuff, like, I really haven't used a whole lot of, and I want that to change. So these are going to be like my little bins of like supplies and just things that I am going to allow myself to use for ICAD. And then of course, you know, sprays and things. I have that all on my little like art cart, which I might do a video of so you guys can see, because I know I haven't done too many like room tours or like crafty space videos because my room is forever a mess, but I might be able to just do the art cart one because I can clear off a corner of my room. Anywho, yeah, so that is ICAD. I'm looking forward to starting it. I don't know if I will film every single card because it is very time consuming. And sometimes I like my best time to create is at night. So there's no lighting. There's like no lighting at night when I'm working in my room. Like the overhead lights are very yellow and very warm. So I don't have like a setup for filming when it's not bright out. But I will do like, I guess like check-in videos just to kind of show you where I'm at and what I've made. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and insert the creation video of my cover card for 2022 as well as for day one. All right, and here we go. For my cover card thing, I wanted to keep it like fairly simple. I didn't want to spend so much time on it. I think one of the reasons I got really burnt out last year was because I started making more and more elaborate cards, and it just kind of was very time consuming. So this year I want to try and just keep things very simple, very minimal, well, semi-minimal. So I used here this manila card that I had that I trimmed down, and I was attempting to use up some acrylic paints last year, so I made a whole bunch where I just randomly swatched paint all over. And that's the beauty of having cards with already printed or painted backgrounds, is you don't have to take out all your paints and things anytime you want to make a card. So I used that as my base, and then the little pieces here were all scraps from that bin that I showed earlier on in the video. I had bought a like collage book. I think it's discontinued now. I got it secondhand, and it was just like a book where it had a bunch of like how to collage with a bunch of practice sheets and like things that you could use to collage, and those like that head was from one of the sheets in that collage book. So I actually scanned a lot of the pages from that book because it was double-sided and I'm very indecisive. So I scanned them so that way I could have both sides, and that was just like one of the printed ones that was floating around in my scrap bin. Now the cloud thing where I stamped ICAD, that's a printable from Jennie, and I will link her Patreon down below. She just started, I think like last month or the month before, but she has like the best printables. So I use that for my title, and the little checkered, or yeah, the little grid stars that I put around the edge of the card, those are from February and June. I will also link her down below. So yeah, I was trying to use up scraps. I think that's my real main goal for this year, is to keep them simple and to use up scraps. That word or that phrase that I have there, that is also from Jennie. She released it around Mother's Day, I think, where she did a whole bunch of like phrases and stuff. So yeah, I used that. And then I kind of wanted to play a little, is it play? I wanted to have a little homage to last year with my little party hat tutorial that I followed. So I cut one out of just a torn page out of a Flow magazine. So if you notice, I actually didn't check the size of this card before I started making it. So I had to go back and I took a Heidi Swap one to kind of like loosely measure it. So that way my card would fit in my Catalogdex, which I don't think I mentioned it before, but or earlier on in the video. In the event that you haven't seen my Rolodex video, the Rolodex I'm using, it's called a Catalogdex, and I got that off of Etsy. And so that's where all of my goodies are going this year. So also, you're going to notice throughout, if I continue filming ICAD videos, you're going to see that minion placemat. So I am notorious for making a mess. I made the mistake of buying a white desk to work on. So of course I get everything on it. It has stains everywhere. And so I bought this placemat in the hopes that I would try and keep my desk semi-white, or what is left of it anyway. So yeah, I picked up this Despicable Me minion one, mainly because my husband hates minions and I thought it was really funny. So I got it. So you can see here I am using a zig dot marker to create like this really cute border around the card. I like to swatch out supplies when I'm not really sure what color to use. So on my left, I tested out all the different possible ones that could match, and I ended up going with the yellow. You know, for being a quick and easy card, I actually really, really like this one. Fast, easy, and I got to use up a lot of good stuff. But yeah, this is the start of that challenge. Side note, that flower stamp or the leaf stamp that I used to stamp on the yellow paper for the body, that is a hand carved stamp that I made, and I just like adhered it onto a piece of cardboard so it would have a little more of a sturdy backing. Welcome to day one, officially day one of ICAD. So if you follow the hashtag, I think it's DYICAD 2022 or just Daisy Yellow ICAD, I'm going to link all the information below. But if you follow anyone on Instagram, you'll see that the creator of this challenge, she actually releases like oh my goodness, what are they called? Like prompts. Sorry, she releases prompts for the different days and the different weeks. And so for day one, the prompt was asterisk. Funny enough, I actually had to look up an asterisk because I got it confused with an ampersand. So because I have an ampersand hole punch that I was going to use for this, but then I realized that that's not an asterisk. So because I didn't have anything like asterisk related in my stash, I decided to hand carve my own little asterisk stamp, which, by the way, if you are a stamp carver, you'll probably be screaming internally because I realized while watching this that I do not carve stamps safely. You're supposed to actually have the blade away from you, and I'm noticing that I frequently move the blade towards my fingers, which you don't want to do. So, you know, what does that phrase, do as I say and not as I do? don't follow me for how to make hand carved stamps, because I clearly am not the best at it. But anyway, I am using one of those jumbo pink erasers that you get for back to school, which I realize if you're back in the States, it's around that time, or it's going to be around that time soonish. And if you're looking into hand carved stamps, you can buy a whole bunch of these for insanely cheap around August. So keep a lookout if you're looking for some cheap materials to try hand carved stamps. So, I am going to say that I noticed while editing this that part of the card making process did not film. So you guys didn't see me. I cut out the panda head from a children's book, and then I used the yellow scratch paper that I was testing out my stamp image as I was carving it. I used that to create that cool little border on the side. And then I have a stamp of thought bubbles or speech bubbles, and I used that and I stamped it on top of some sticker paper. And then I just used a Tim Holtz quote from that sticker pack thing that I showed you guys earlier. And that is how I made that card. Yeah, I realized all of that got cut off, but I hope you at least got the gist of what I made. Anywho, with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Y'all have a good one. Bye.